Gotcha, how you do, Buckaroos? How the heck are you? I'm gonna start making this a regular Monday night thing. Because I didn't get a video in at all over this past weekend because I had to work, man. I was tired. It was a couple long days anyway. One day, a little mishap. So, anyways, we don't need to rehash that, Tom. Anyway, anyway, I digress. For some reason, it would not let me share to. Oops, didn't mean to do that. It wouldn't let me share to Facebook. So I said the YouTube link. So if you'd like to watch, just click the YouTube link. Not sure what the issue was. It just kept saying there was a problem. So anyway, nevertheless, the link is there on Facebook. You just have to click it. Anyways, said I'd share a couple cocktails with you. And I wanted to start with a vodka martini. That's always a good cocktail to start with. I'm using the Pinckney Bend 83 proof vodka, handcrafted American vodka, produced and bottled by Pinckney Bend. Stuff is really good, man. It has a slight sweetness to it, but it's very clean. Using traditional olives here, I've been known to do some different stuff. For a while there, I had some bacon cheddar. I use feta and blue cheese from time to time. But here, I just want to do just a regular dirty martini. So I've got 2 ounces of the vodka, a little bit of olive juice, and a couple martinis floating in the bottom of the glass. No, it does look like a small glass, but it does hold it all. It's deceptive. You do want a martini very cold. You don't want some folks have it on the rocks. Typically, a martini served straight up. You don't want ice in the cocktail, but you do want it well chilled. Which means for me, I want to have my glass chilled as well. Now, if you're at a bar or at least a good one, they'll typically chill the glass. They won't usually have the glass already chilled, but they'll your better establishments will put ice in the glass and put some water in and let that chill for a couple minutes while they're putting your cocktail together. Then they'll empty it and pour your drink in. But for me, I just have my glass good chilled. I'm going to do 2 cocktails with you. The other one I've got off to the side there, so I will jump off camera when I'm done with this one because I don't think this one's going to last very long. There's that first cocktail of the night, man. Oh, it wasn't a bad work day. It was fine. I'm just tired. It was a long weekend. Friday and Saturday I was off yesterday, but boy, Friday and Saturday were a couple long days. I was tired. Not stressful, just long. And today wasn't so bad. I was just trying to get through it. It's funny, you never know how the conversation is going to go. And I was talking to somebody about the videos today and why I do them. And I was telling that nothing is ever scripted because I never know what I'm going to talk about. Sometimes something that happens, will bring out a conversation. But for whatever reason, there was some new folks into the bar tonight. They were friends of some other friends that or the brewery, I should say, not bar. And then they asked, how many kids we had. Now, there was a time I would just say, well, we have a daughter and leave it at that. But I'm getting to the point now where I did for a long time, I didn't want to bring up the fact that we lost our son Seamus to cancer because it makes people uncomfortable. But I've gotten to the point where I don't care if it makes them uncomfortable. If you ask me a question, I'm going to give you an honest answer. So I say, yes, we have a daughter and 2 grandkids, but we lost our son to cancer. And that sometimes that brings up other questions, and sometimes it just makes the whole thing uncomfortable. But the person I was talking to tonight was inquisitive, let's just say, wanted to know certain things. And I've gotten to where, for again, for the longest time, I didn't want to talk about it because I know it makes people uncomfortable. But then lately, I've been thinking, well, if you ask me the question, I'm going to give you an answer. And if it makes you uncomfortable, well, that's really your issue, not mine. So I used to worry about making people uncomfortable, and I'm worrying about that less and less. Because again, I feel like if you ask me a question, well, I'm going to give you an honest answer. But here's the thing: usually, once I start talking, I'm not going to stop, right? I mean, I well, until I reached the end of the point I'm trying to make. So I'm not going to give you a couple quick lines and be dead. If you open up that line of questioning, well, I'm going to answer it. I'm going to make you sit there and listen to my answer. One of my regulars was kept wanting to interrupt. He doesn't really mean to. He just can't help it. So I just kept talking over him. No, I'm making a point here. You're gonna sit there. You're because I've heard everything you've had to say. You're just repeating the same thing and over again, just louder and louder each time. I've got something to say here, and I'm not going to stop till I'm done. But then the question of grief always pops up. There is no right or wrong way. And that's what some people just can't wrap their heads around. Not everybody is always in the same place, and you have to be prepared for that. I'd like to think that's something my wife and I do well is respect the other's position wherever they are at that time. You can't expect, you're rarely at that same spot. And sometimes things are easy to talk about, sometimes they're not. And the question that was asked about therapy. Say, well, it does help my wife. I said, but it's not something I wanted to do. And this is what I do is I turn the camera on and I talk about whatever is on my mind at any given time. And that's what helps me is not necessarily talking to a therapist, is just being able to say things out loud. Now, if I'm at home saying things out loud by myself in a chair, well, then I'm a crazy person. But if I turn the camera on, I'm not a crazy person because I'm talking to somebody out there. And for me, that's what helps. Just saying things out loud, getting it out. Damn, that was a nice martini. That went down way too quick. That went down way too quick, man. That was good. I don't care who you are. That's tasty. So I'm going to jump off camera briefly. Bear with me. I'll be right back. Damn, I didn't mean to drink that one that fast. We'll be back with cocktail number two. So I've done various versions of this particular cocktail. And it's not really a Manhattan. It's not really an old fashioned. I don't know that it has a particular name because I've made it up. So I'm just going to call it odd nuts for the purposes of this video. And here's what I've got in here. Starting with the whiskey, I've used a Switchgrass Spirits American single malt whiskey, limited release at 92 proof. And the tasting notes they give on this are chocolate, cherries, and fresh baked bread. But when I've had this whiskey before, I've kind of expounded on those things. They say chocolate, I'm going to say dark chocolate. They say cherries, I'm going to say dark cherries. Fresh baked bread, I'm going to say a dark bread, like a pumpernickel. So using those flavors, keep that in mind. I've used 2 ounces of that whiskey, a half ounce of the Disaronno Amaretto. So I've got an almond thing going on, and then toasted almond bitters. So, like I said, it's not really a Manhattan because I'm not using a sweet vermouth, but it's not an old fashioned either. I do have it served straight up with the Amarena cherry floating at the bottom or sinking at the bottom, I guess. Oh man. But the flavors of that whiskey blend real well with the amaretto and then the toasted almond bitters. It all seems to work well together. But like I said, it's not a Manhattan because I'm not using sweet vermouth, not using a simple syrup or a sugar cube, so it's not really an old fashioned. But it is an easy, it's a simple cocktail, but yet complex flavors. Typically, you might want to use a bourbon or a rye, but when I was thinking of the flavors blending with the amaretto, uh, the flavors of this American single malt whiskey really came to mind. Switchgrass out of St. Louis. Yeah, man, wow, this is just delicious. I've done, like I said, I've done various versions of this. I don't know that I like any of them better than this. So with again, those flavors that I mentioned pop out, just blends so well with the amaretto, and then those toasted almond bitters. Oh, mercy, Percy, it's delicious. You'll see me drink on the rocks every once in a while, especially if I'm having an old fashioned. Most of the time, I will put that big cube in there, but I got to be honest with you. I just prefer a straight up cocktail. I don't like having ice in the glass. I do enjoy a straight up cocktail, meaning I've got it nice and chilled, but I'm not having ice in the glass. Uh, damn, that was good. Yeah, everything is just wow. Everything just blends amazingly well together here. Now I can relax. The day's over. I've got a couple of days off. I can. I've put a lot of hours in the last couple of weeks, so I just kind of needed a little breather. I'm gonna miss not having the hours later on when the check comes in, but right now I feel like I just needed to decompress a little bit, if you will. Uh, Man, that really is absolutely delicious. So I've got just a little bit left of this whiskey. I probably ought to drink the rest of this neat, but I didn't want to try it in this cocktail because I was curious how it would react. And it's absolutely perfect. 100% malted barley. I do love the American single malt category because American single malt whiskeys are not like the others. You know, this was not like the others. You know, it's certainly not a Scotch single malt or an Irish single malt or a Japanese single malt. It comes at you in a completely different way. Um, for the most part, most of those other single malts I listed uh, are aged in used bourbon casks. Well, while most American single malt whiskeys are aged in new American charred oak, so you get more of that char, more of that oak in the single malt. So it comes at you in a completely different way. I love the category. I'm a huge fan, and especially love buying these small distillery versions of the style. Restless Spirits at Kansas City did a great one. As well, a great couple versions, if you will. Union Horse, their rivalist American single malt is absolutely beautiful. It's probably my favorite, but the two from Restless Spirits are really good too. But this one from Switchgrass really comes at you in a different way. The flavors and aromas are completely different, which is why I love this category because you can see the different interpretations from the various distilleries. And I'm a big proponent in the small American distilleries and not buying the names that you know. I try to avoid those big names like the plague. Ah, man, that is nice. That really is. Wow. Wow, that's good, man. I don't care who you are. That's tasty. That's really good, man. Oh man. That's dark cherry on the bottom, so that imparts a little bit of flavor, not a lot, but a little bit. And again, that whiskey, again, it says it's cherry, but again, it feels more like a dark cherry. So it kind of adds to all of it. Those dark baked bread notes. And again, the amaretto, the toasted almond bitters. Oh, mercy. It is that perfect late night cocktail. This is the perfect digestive, the perfect end of the evening cocktail. That nightcap, if you will, because it is just wow. Ah, shit biscuits. Wow, that's good. That's good, man. Anyway, I digress. Let me finish this up and wrap this video up. Uh, Kind of shifting my video schedule to deal with my schedule. So yeah, we're gonna do a late night Monday. I don't know who's available to watch, but I'm gonna be here for those that are. I'll be doing less on the weekends because I'll be working a lot of them. So I used to always do every Friday and Saturday, but if I'm working Friday nights, ah, so it just worked out to do one this evening. I may even do a Tuesday. We're gonna play her by ear. I'm trying to get my at the pub back on schedule again, but I don't want to start lining up guests again until I really got a really where I do have a schedule. I tried lining up some guests, but then my schedule changed, and then I've got to cancel on guests, and that's just not good. It's hard to get guests when you're constantly trying to reschedule them. So I need to get my schedule balanced out where I know I'm going to have specific time to do that. I was leaning towards Wednesdays, but now I'm thinking I might try Sundays, but I don't know how many guests are going to be available on a Sunday, but we're going to see. You would think the weekends would be better than the weekdays, but a lot of folks are, especially if I've lined up musicians, well, they're gigging on the weekends, so you just never know. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and uh, damn, that's good. All right, good guy, Sláinte.